morning, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters on the path, fellow travelers. The Foundation for Universal Responsibility of His Holiness the Dalai Lama is deeply privileged and blessed and honored to welcome Guruji B.K.S. Iyengar here today for this lecture demonstration on yoga and healing the mind. It's become quite a cliche to talk about a person who needs no introduction, and Guruji really does need no introduction. So brevity shall be the soul of wit, and I shall not offer you a long introduction about a great master who we are privileged to host and in whose midst we are. As my sort of tribute and great learning from Mr. Iyengar, I just thought I would recount a brief incident about a year ago, which for me epitomizes the many dimensions and facets of this great master. I had gone to Pune. I've been a student of Mr. Iyengar for about 20 years, 25 years really, and he too, as many of us in the audience, has wrought great miracles in our lives, both in mind and body. And I went to see him, and I said, Guruji, how are you? He said, he was 92 then, he's 93 now. He said, I am 92 years old, and I've stopped doing regular yoga classes, and I'm just concentrating on remedial yoga. And I said, why, Guruji? He said, there are still parts of my body that my consciousness has not reached. And that is something that I have to work on. And when I met him recently, I said, Guruji, has your consciousness reached the parts of your body? And he had the equal candor to say, sometimes I think so. And that for me was really the narrative of a truly great master. And we don't know when someone will be worthy to follow in his footsteps. And so this is a remarkable privilege and opportunity. And dovetail with that, and I hope that most of you, if not all of you, will be here for the afternoon session. It's also a very special moment because I've had, and please forgive the I here, I know that much of this has to do with the elimination of self and I, but I feel overwhelmed when it involves two great teachers that I have been privileged to serve and to know and to prove a most worthy aspirant to both of them, is that when I mentioned to both His Holiness the Dalai Lama about Mr. Iyengar's striving and his work and who he was, and his first impulse was, well, I want to see him. And it was an identical response from Mr. Iyengar. So it really is a historic day for us. The two great living masters this afternoon will come together in dialogue. I know that that's more words than should have intervened between the presence of a great master. I will just sort of go and welcome and invite Mr. Iyengar to the stage and offer this to him.
Thank you, sir. Friends, it's a great honor for me to stand in front of you and address you with a few words on the value of yoga. Though I am 92 years old, I am a student of yoga, and still, whatever little I know, the unknown is more than what I know. Therefore, there will be some human weaknesses for which I request you to forgive me. And I am grateful to Rajiv Mehrotra. And I could not say no to him because he's my old friend. And my lecture demonstration in Delhi was in 1970 when there was an International Yoga Convention. Then about 20 years ago I had given one more. I think afterwards this is the first time I'm appearing in front of you. Probably all of you might not have seen my presentations in 1970 at all. Today, my friend wants me to know how yoga transforms the human mind. The mind is like a mercury and it slips like an eel. It's very difficult to fish the mind as it is difficult to fish the wind. Yet, it is possible to bring the mind to a state of stability, quietness, so that one can build up from that quietness what the next constructive stages of the mind for growth is. In order to know the mind, we have to go back to the construction of the nature known as cosmogamy. The Sankhya Shastra has shown us the way, the map of the creation, creator and the creation of the world. That Purusha, the Mula Purusha, the Srishtikarta, and the playground and the playthings for the Srishtikarta to play is Prakriti, or the nature. This Prakriti has no motion at all without the first principle of Mahat called cosmic intelligence. From cosmic intelligence, each individual develops individual consciousness known as Chitta. So this Chitta has three facets. One is Ahankara, I maker, intelligence, Buddhi, and Manas, the mind. It's all encased in the consciousness, these three. But for me, this Ahamkara, which we all call it as I maker, the consciousness, absolute consciousness has no shape, as the soul has no shape. Both are nirakaras. So this Ahankara, if it is broken into two parts, Aham Akara, or it becomes I-ness. So there has got two divisions. One is Ahankara, connected with nature, and another is Ahamkara, Aham Akara, connected to the self. So Chitta is placed in such a way that it is caught with the Ahankara, the pride of the individual, and on the other side, the humility of the individual. And this Manas, this human body, after this Manas, as again covers 5 bhutas, or the elements of nature, Prithvi, Up, Tej, Vayu and Akasha, or earth, water, fire, air and ether. And they have got 5 atomic energical qualities known as Tanmatra, Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa and Gandha. Sparsha sound, touch, form, taste, and smell, or the qualities of these 5 elements. And these 5 elements are knowable. But the 5 tanmatras, or the atoms, can be felt but cannot be perceived. Similarly, we have 5 Jnanendriyas, senses of perception, and 5 Karmendriyas, organs of action, put together are the 24 principles of Prakriti, playing with the self as a playground, body as a playground, and these various infrastructure of the elements as the plaything for each individual to play with himself. This is a map of the human being. And mind is placed in such a way that the 5 elements in each individual is divided into 5 koshas known as Annamaya kosha, skeletal-muscular body, Pranamaya kosha, the organic or the physiological body, Manomaya kosha, or the mental frame, emotional frame of the mind, Vijnanamaya kosha, intellectual part of the head, and the last Chittamaya kosha, which many people call it as Anandamaya kosha, because 5 bhutas, Purusha is beyond the 5 koshas. Therefore, I consider that when Chitta, Maya kosha, becomes completely silent, there is Ananda for that individual self. And that's why it comes under the Panchabhutas. And we as human beings, the mind being placed exactly in the middle between, on the elemental side, Prithvi and up, earth and water on one side, which are the subtle, gross elements, and on the other side, the Vijnanamaya or Sparsha, contact is intelligence, and vibration, creating space or contracting space within the body is ether or Akashamaya kosha. So the mind is exactly in between. Hence it plays a dual role. Patanjali says that when we are practicing the asanas, I am using this word particularly for you people to know that tato dvandvo anabhigataha, the dual function of the mind comes to an end in the perfection of the asanas. That is why it is said, sthiram sukham asanam. He is given the characteristic of the asana, not the character of the asana, as we practice of today. Any comfortable pose is all right. So the depth of the meaning has to be understood, and the character of the asana has not been explained by Patanjali, but has been explained by Lord Krishna. Samankaya shirogrivan dharayan achalam stiraha. All movements. He gives the plumb area, center of the crown, center of the heart, center of the perineum is the middle line, plumb line. So your right side of the body and left side of the body has to be evenly balanced with that plumb line. And that is the character of the presentation of the asana. Whatever the asana may be, it has to be carefully measured, carefully adjusted. That is, that the outer parts of the body are in par with the center of the body. Hence, character of the asana is explained by Lord Krishna, and characteristic of the asana as explained by Patanjali, sthiram sukhanasanam. Suppose I am doing the scorpion pose. I should be as natural as I stand in Tadasana. That is what Patanjali says. Therefore, I do not want you to know that asana is just for physical fitness, which is going on everywhere. Please take off from your mind. Please take, because yoga consists of yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, and samadhi. You cannot leave anyone. If one is executive, the other are all hidden in it. If I am explicit in asana, don't think that it is only a physical motion. But I have to bring all the 5 koshas to play with my external body. Hence, I want to guide you people that asana is a part of yoga, but it is not separate as a physical fitness yoga as it is going on today. This dual mind, as I said, is so difficult, like the rays of the sun, which are millions. Similarly, like a diamond which throws pieces of light. Mind has got so many pieces which cannot be counted at all. For your information, just this morning I was thinking, just to guide you, we have got Chaitanya Shila Manas, that means biological mind. Swabhava Shila Manas, physical mind. Vyavaharika mind, habitual mind. Lovikika mind, temporal mind. Saindriya Manas, organic mind. Pranika mind, energetic mind. Naitika Manas, ethical mind. Manasika Manas, emotional mind. Avega, avegika, or impulsive state of mind. Utthana Manas, wandering mind. Vikalpa Manas, imaginative mind. Viparya Manas, perverse mind. Nidra Manas, dull mind. Smriti Manas, mind which functions on the memory of this life. There is another mind called samskaric mind, which depends on the latent impressions of the previous lives. Then comes Vitarka Manas, logical mind. Vichara Manas, synthetic mind. Ati Prasanga Manas, impertinent mind. Nirodha Manas, restraining mind. Shanta Manas, tranquil mind. Ekagra Manas, attentive mind. Ahankarik mind. I've used the word after Ekagra Chitta, Ahankarika mind, egoistic mind. In my life, by the grace of God, I have met lot of intellectuals in the world. This power of attentive attention, total attention, intoxicates them like the alcohol which intoxicates the druggist. This intelligence I have seen intoxicating highly qualified intellectual people in the world. So even though we have reached that certain height, quality of the growth of intelligence, that intelligence intoxicates the mind to become egoistic, that none can come close to me, none can beat me in my argument. And that is why, that though you have, such persons have reached that level, there is a downfall where ahankara sets in. From ahankara, Patanjali uses the word in the 4th chapter, which is very interesting to note. He says, Chidra Chitta, split mind, split personalities, today we call it. But Patanjali uses the split personality of those intellectuals in the last sutras of the 4th chapter. Therefore, intellectual intelligence is like a cliff where you can go, fall, or you can move ahead. That's why I have divided to show that Ekangra Chitta may lead to Ahankarika Chitta, that Ahankarika Chitta may break your consciousness into various pores. Therefore, if we conquer that, then you understand what is divine Divya Chitta or divine Manas is. This just I've given you about 24, 25 facets of the mind. If I go on tracing, probably I may find innumerable facets of the mind. Hence, mind is, as I told you like before, is like an eel which cannot be gripped. But one has to struggle like Abhyasa Vairagyabhyam Tanirodha. Abhyasa nisa kaunteya Vairagyena cha guryate. Hatha Yoga Sutra, or you take it Bhagavad Gita, they quote evenly, that only by abhyasa and vairagya, that is by practice and renunciation, one can conquer that. Conquer the mind and grip it under your control. Munis and rishis must have thought that the only way to bring this dualistic mind to a single cosmic mind or a universal mind is through Yoga Marga. They have got 4 paths, 4 margas: Jnana Marga, Bhakti Marga, Karma Marga, but all these 3 margas are dependent on Yoga Marga, which is the foundation for other 3 margas. Therefore, yoga plays a great role in each individual so that you develop the quality of karma, jnana and bhakti, or in other words I say, tapas swadhyaya ishvara pranidhanani kriya yoga. In sadhana pada, what is sadhana? When he speaks of what sadhana is, he brings these 8 aspects of yoga from yama to samadhi in a capsule form. Call it as tapas swadhyaya ishvara pranidhana. Tapas is yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara is tapas. So that you develop the shakti, the enduring power within your nerves, within your body, within your mind. So when that shakti comes, use that shakti with yukti swadhyaya, swadhyaya. Study your own self, not only the scripts of the old, but also of your own self. So for that, the method is pratyahara again, pratyahara, dharana and dhyana. In order to understand your own quality of behavioral pattern is through swadhyaya, known as yukti. You have to use your intellectual skillfulness in the practice when you have, in the art of strength which you have acquired through the bahiranga sadhana of the yoga. The last is you experience this shunya, swarupa shunyavastha. The quality of the end of consciousness is swarupa shunya, ends in samadhi. So that is what we call manolaya, or passiveness of the mind with alertness. From here is the stage where you have to move from samadhi to kaivalya, where swarupa shunya becomes swarupa pratishtha, establishment in the self. That is what we call from I move towards do. So that is, these are the stages of yoga. And today you are going to see some asanas performed by the students. I spoke of abhyasa and vairagya. Now their mind is so tricky that because of these various features of the mind, it creates in each individual, which I am quoting only Patanjali, vyadhisthana samshaya pramada alasya avirati bhranti darshana alabdha bhumikatva anavasthitatva chitta vikshepastyentaraya. These various rays of the mind play such a game which involves you in physical diseases, physical dullness, mental dullness, stupidity, Vadhisthana, samshaya, doubtfulness, pramada, carelessness, alasya, physical dullness, avirata, bhranti darshana, illusive intelligence, alabdha bhumikatva, practicing and stopping at the same, probably it may not be for me, jumping for the other line, again dropping that, going for the other line. Anavasthitatva, having reached a certain stage, due to weakness, saying, I am 92 years old, I am still practicing yoga, not that I am not doing it. If I have not done it, then I become anavasthata. So what I have maintained, what I have achieved, I am still maintaining it. That is known as avastha, that non-oscillation state of my body and mind. Therefore, these 9 impediments which come, from the fluctuation of the mind, creates dukkha, daurmanasya, angame jayatva, shvasa prashvasaha, chitta vikshepaste antarayaha. Again, dukkha, daurmanasya, weakness, sorrowfulness, weakness, heavy breathing. Today cardiac diseases are increasing because of this one quality. Shvasa prashvasa, heavy breathing, labored breathing, shakiness in the body. So today they are the symptoms, the Patanjali say they are concurrent with the diseases. Therefore, yoga helps us, tat pratishedartham ekatattva abhyasa. So abhyasa should be of the ekatattva, knowing that the difference between the right and the left and the dual functioning of the mind, how to bring to a state of stambhata. This word you will get only when Patanjali explains pranayama, bahya vritti, abhyantara vritti, stambha vritti, he uses the word on breath. But the same quotation on which he speaks on prana also stands for manas. Abhyantara vritti, bahya vritti, abhyantara vritti, stambha vritti. So bahya vritti is vittana chitta, wandering mind. Antarvritti is going towards the self. Stambha vritti, maintaining, not going that side or this side, remaining that center state alone. So this, how Patanjali explains in various sutras, certain words, which we have to carry on. And this yoga is divided into three classes. One is kala, art of living. The second is science of knowledge, and the other part is insight of knowledge, called kala, vijnana, prajnana. And this art of living is universal to one and all in the world, that is yama, niyamasana, ahimsa, satyamastheya, brahmacharya, parigraha, shaucha, santoshata, swadhyaya, ishvara, pradhana. Because Patanjali, being a grammarian, has not used strong words that you are a violent person. He says what weaknesses human beings have got. He has used the opposite words of the actual defective instincts of a human being. Himsa, asatya, steya, greediness, greediness. Abrahmacharya, what is going on today in HIV and all these things. And parigraha, greediness. So these are the human intellectual, instinctive weaknesses which have to be won by the practice of yoga, by tat pratishedartham ekatattva abhyasa. So use the word, the abhyasa should be like that, studying your instinctive, intellectual weaknesses, find the way and work on it. And there comes asana, pranayama, pratyahara is one part, which is vijnana. Dharana, dhyana and samadhi is another part as prajnana. Patanjali in the 3rd chapter uses tayamayakatra samyamaha. He calls dharana, dhyana and samadhi, three together, as samyama. And he calls it, this is antaranga to the other aspects of yoga, the previous aspects of yoga. So being yama and yama works on the art of living, the other three, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, the other three parts are bahiranga samyama. Dharana, dhyana and samadhi is antaranga samyama. So yoga is to bring the bahya samyama and antara samyama together. And that is the aim of yoga. The mind, he plays a role, dual role, like a public relation officer in any industrial business. He has to please the customer, he has to please the Lord, the owner. So similarly, the mind in our body naturally does the same. It wants to please the senses of perception, organs of action on one side, and it wants to please the intellect, the consciousness of the self on the other side. So it has place in the middle. So it has a tremendous way, like the scale of justice, The mind has to skillfully, discreetly measure each and every action. That is what yoga teaches. That's known as tat pratichedartam ekatattva abhyasa. Balance your abhyasa in such a way that you get control so that you balance the mind evenly on the gross elemental side and subtle elemental side so that you live in a state of poise and peace. And this is the map of yoga for all of you. Why yoga is very important, and the Bahiranga Samyama, Asana Pranayama Pratyahara is a scientific knowledge because through perception, through your body action, your senses, your organs, your nervous system only can be experimented in these. That's why it's an experimental science. Asana Pranayama Pratyahara is an experimental science of yoga. Dharana Dhyana Samadhi is an experiential knowledge of yoga. It can be only experienced, cannot be expressed its value. And today I am presenting the asana to show you, I am giving you beforehand, that the difference in meditation, we go the centripetal attention. Whereas in asana pranayama, this is centrifugal attention. Here, the soul is brought out from this prison house to move in the entire frontier of its map, the body. Whereas in dhyana, the senses and perception are moved towards the self, but the self remains in its own abode. But whereas in asana pranayama, we bring the abode to come out and mix with the prakriti, so that the prakriti and purusha get wedded. When they get wedded, the individual quality of dual personality of the mind disappears. Then there is only one mind, which Patanjali explains that when the mind changes into Mahat, cosmic intelligence, it unites with the Prakriti. Then the real intuitive intelligence of the self shines and works on its own to guide that person to lead towards the spiritual kingdom. This is the effect of yoga. Friends, thank you for giving me this chance. And I request you to be patient because I came only day before yesterday. I had not seen the local, because I wanted to present local students also, as there are local people here. And I thought that it's better that my students from Pune and Bombay and from Delhi come together, again union, what I say, yoga, let me bring them also together. Let me not feel the difference. That means I are only called students, not we are here. So I have shown the path of yoga, that they're all very juniors. Only except one person, probably this is the first time they are appearing on the platform. And only last 24 hours, only yesterday evening, this morning, I guided them how to be a budding artist on a platform. So they have how to present an art as an art. So it has taken me some time. They may commit some mistake, for which I request you to forgive these mistakes by chance if they commit. And please give your hand of praise for them so that they are ignited to continue practice without any break. God bless you. I am happy that they have agreed to stand in front of you, and please don't be nervous and present well to your capacity. And there, at the end, you see a person. He's above 50. Oh, 16, eh? And I've told him, imagine that you are an invalid person. How invalid persons also can do yoga. Therefore, there are instruments, props, which I have made him to use it so that those people who are fearful, who are afraid to begin, can do conveniently, confidently, without fear complexes. Because many people say yoga has to be done independently. If you see my book, I have not used one prop. But this is not a prop used by Mr. Iyengar, which people call it, but it has been said by Vyasa himself in the commentary on Patanjali, where he says that if you cannot do yourself, you use the props for you to learn. Sopastraya. He has used the word sopastraya. Means with support you can do. So, but nobody could trace it. Fortunately, I traced. I said, why he used that word? So let me find out. Then I started that even invalid people can do and get confidence to do their job, uncompleted job, to complete it before God calls them. That is why I found out those things. Thank you very much, my friend. This is known as Tadasana. Tada means a tree. Tada means a palm tree. Palm tree is straight. Palm tree grows straight. And that's why it is called Tadasana, that the body should be from the center, from the heel, or from the heel to the back of the head in one line, and from the front of the metatarsal to the front of the head in one line, so that all the muscles are adjusted within that bark. The skin is the bark of the body. Within that bark, they have to build up the inner wood and adjust it. This is known as Tadasana. Utthita Trikonasana. Trikonasana means triangular asana. Right angle triangle. The right leg, the left leg distance, the body should be in such a line that there are three triangles. This is one triangle, this is another triangle, this is another triangle, three triangles. That is why it is called Trikonasana. Not going as you like, saying spread your legs apart and go down. No, you have to create the three triangles. That is why it's called Trikonasana. Three konas, three angles should be there. And this is all meant for the backaches, stability in the legs, so that the skeletal, muscular body are built up. So I am building up, showing you from Annamaya Kosha to start with. These are all for Annamaya Kosha, skeletal muscular body development. Now the other side. Now you can go. Now I'm give you an example. I said they're all, first time they're on the platform, which you would like to excuse. I said Trikonasana. Trikonasana is a straight line. Now this is not a straight line. This is bump. How can you call it Trikonasana? So I say, move the foot still forward. Go still, it drops. Now you can see the change. So this is known as alignment. The core, from the core of the being, we have to measure the right side of the body and left side of the body so that they evenly place to the core of the being. That is the way the asana has to be done. There, next. Correct. Virabhadrasana 2. Now everybody speaks of the brain. Now this lady has done. Now this is the crown of the head. This is the crown of the sternum, crown of the throat, center of the head, center of the crown, center of the navel, center of the pubis. Are they in line? It's not in line. So hemisphere, her mind is aggressive. So this is himsa action. This is ahimsa action. How to measure the 5 principles of yama in an asana? She is doing it. Now what I do is, I look at her head. It moves. What happened to the head? It moved towards that side or not? How did you do before? Can you see? So hemisphere moved here. So you disturb the consciousness. So what I do, I keep it come up. I keep that my finger in the line. I will not allow, this is my brain. I say bend the leg, I bend the leg without oscillating my head. Come on, bend your knee. Go down. Can you see? So that means I have brought all the 5 koshas to work in each asana. Not one can be forgotten. Now, this is to work on the hip. Parshvakonasana, Utthita Parshvakonasana. This is the plank. Parsha means a plank. So this, the middle line. From the middle nail to the middle foot is the line. So the body, that is known as how to adjust the basan. Siram Sukhamasana. Prayatna Shaitilya Ananta Samapatibhyam. As long as there are dents, the prayatna has to continue. Not sitting quietly, do what you like. Now she has done it. See here, this muscle is not coordinating. This muscle is not coordinating. These are all parts of the single intelligence. So what I said, can I make a single intelligence? So I measure from here, cut this back, this in. Now from the nail, if you draw a line, see the straight line. So this is mathematical calculation. You have to judge yourself in each asana while doing, not just doing a physical motion. Oh, this is asana. Now come up. Next. They are showing both the sides so that samatvam yoga uchyate. Both sides of the flesh, both sides of the muscles. Again, you lost. Just now I corrected. See, that's the line we have to learn. Then, next. Virabhadrasana. It's a warrior pose. Now, you saw her. Go up again. Now, how carefully. If there is an evolution, there should be an involution. If there is an involution, there should be an evolution. They have to go together. That is the art of yoga. One cannot do as they like. Now, I kept my hand here, just to give her guidance. Now, you should be in that line alone, go down. Don't bring this. Ascend the chest, descend the leg. Ascend the mind. So this is a mind action. Come up. Do the old one, as you did. What happened here? Narrowed. So that is Akasha Tattva became small. So you compress the Akasha Tattva. So vibration is not felt. So neurology does not function at all. Now I keep my hand, keep my hand. Now stretch your mind. Can you see how much it went up? So it's a mind action. Body is an agent of the mind. So we train the facets of the mind to become single by using the body as an instrument, as an agent to guide the mind. Virabhadrasana C. Now here also, they are doing very well. Say this plank is facing you. This plank is not facing you. So all this thing should face like that. And that is known as Stiram Sukham Asanam. She did it like that old. You can't call it Sukham. All distorted pose. Muscles are distorted, contracted, constricted. So what is that Patanjali says? Stiram Sukhamasana. So each muscle should stay in their positions, whatever the asanas may be. Tatadashta Swarupe Avasthanam. As the soul rests in its place, each muscle, each fiber, each tissue, each ligament has to rest in that place, whatever the asana may be. That is Stiram Sukham Asanam. Go. Now you can see when they go. The mind is dual. You people don't know. Now I'm just giving because mind can be felt. The mistake can be felt. That is, mind is nothing but conceptual organ. Senses, perception organs are executive organs. Therefore, one can perceive, but mind has to conceive. Now she did it. Do again. Now if you observe, see, you can see this hand came forward, that hand went backward. So mind moved on this hand, mind did not move on that hand. So go back. Now this is known as balancing, challenge and counter challenge. Bend. Now let me do from that hand, not from this hand. Now this hand is longer, you can say. So how to counterbalance the body weights? So without mind you cannot. So you have to think, where am I wrong? Why I am wrong? Next. Ardhachandrasana. Ardhachandrasana, half moon shape. It's called half moon because in India the moon goes this way, horizontally, but in Western countries vertically. So that's why I lifted the hand to show. This is a vertical moon, this is a horizontal half moon. Here also. Now this is high. So intelligence is egoist. This is known as somatic egoism. We do not know that there is a somatic egoism. Now I say, come from cup shape finger. This cup shape. Now open the armpit, lift up the high. Go up as higher. Middle ribs up. Mind up. And now see it came down. You follow? So the bulging of the physical body is also somatic egotism. So there is a somatic egoism, psychic egoism, psychosomatic egoism. So ego is also got three pieces. So these things asanas will teach you to learn. Is it psychic ego, somic ego, or psychosomatic ego? I have to remove all the three. Prasarita Padattanasana. Wait, all together. Always come to Tadasana. Now, when we see Tadasana, then the other way. Now, do your way of Tadasana. It's fine, no problem. Now, if you observe, from here, there is a double action. Here, the skin is the organ of. You have two qualities. It is connected to the element of ether and element of intelligence. Skin has got two elements. So if the skin moves down, that means there is a contact. How people stand? Now they stand like that. There is a deviation between the cells of the body, cells of the flesh, and cells of the skin. Samatvam yoga uchyate. I have to play motor nerves and sensory nerves. I have to balance evenly in each asana. Now, balance. Now, see, that is known as bringing together the sensory nerves and the motor nerves together so that they understand each other, how they should function. Now, if you see, do this wrong action. Now, can you see sinking chest? So, if it goes up, evolutes, this involutes. If this evolutes, this involutes. So these movements we have to catch. That is Swa-Adhyaya, study of the self. When I am doing, what are the differences it takes, how to stop these differences so that there is no difference at all, there is only indifference. Okay. Prasad. He is doing all his support. Resting his legs on the bar so that he may not topple. There is a fear complex for these people that I may topple over like that. So there he touches the pipe and he does it. So no injury, nothing. So that is known as sopastaya. You do with support. Now people will laugh. Why support? Even Patanjali has used the word, you must have read, there is sabija samadhi, nirbija samadhi. Sabija means supported samadhi. Nirbija is non-supported samadhi. Here, this is non-supported, supported. What difference is there? Patanjali has used the word, but we do not know where to catch it. Whom to blame? So that is Sopastaya asana. This is Nirupastaya asana. Now come up. This cools the brain. Head down here. This cools the brain. So this, because people are afraid to do Shirshasana, government thinks that if you speak yoga, oh, Shirshasana is yoga. So our knowledge of yoga is unknown to the very country where it was sprouted. Our own people do not know. So they think, oh, you introduce yoga to children. How can you introduce? They may do Shirshasana. Nonsense. Do you mean to say a doctor prescribes immediately the top quality medicine, or slowly he gives? Dose by dose he gives. So we also give asana dose by dose. There's a methodology. Kramanyatvam parinamantve hetuho. Patanjali's quotation. Kramanyatvam, according to the krama, according to the need, the krama, the sequences are developed so that there are hundreds of sequences which can be built up. But unfortunately, they get after here, the brain is down, mind is up, so subconscious mind becomes conscious, conscious brain becomes subconscious. That is the effect of this asana. Not going ahead, we talk of blood circulation. No textbooks have spoken on yoga on these modern languages. They only explain the effect of asana on mind. That's why I'm grateful that Rajiv Mehrotra gave that term today for you to understand. Please don't think it's a physical act. How to balance the mind in each and every part. Now come up again. Again, legs apart, hands, stand erect. Legs apart. Now you can see, they have to do Viparita Prasarita Padattanasana. What is the length of the trunk? I have to maintain that, and I have to do the pose. Not sinking do the sinking how people do. Now can you see? Now how to do that? Can you see that maintenance has to be maintained? Can you see? I have not collapsed the trunk at all. So mind has to be attentive everywhere. What is the space the mind has covered in the body in Tadasana? Can I maintain that same space in other asanas also? This is how one has to think and practice. Now come on. Feet together. Parivritta Trikonasana. Those who cannot do only Trikonasana. You can see there, those sphincters, they are doing basic Trikonasana. Their lateral moves of the spinal muscles are strengthened. Today, lots of people are suffering backaches because they do not know how to pick up. In olden days, in India, even they put Rangoli in front of the house doing Uttanasana. Today, it's all forgotten. So they cannot bend. So doctor said, don't bend. You follow? And you take it. And how can you say you sit in a latrine with Tadasana? That's my question to your doctor. Don't bend. Now on the other side. This is a lateral rotation of the spine. Now he is doing that with the support gripping. See, he is not doing independently. He is holding this, keeps resting on two hands, and he revolves the spine on this bar. Now come up. Parivritta Parsvakonasana. Go. Again, you see, the same person, there is a support of the brick. Again, brick gets clear. He is supported on the leg, on both the legs. He is supported, the thigh is supported on the tube, chest is supported on this bar, and he rotates. So I'm 92 years. You can say, I can't do it. I never stop. I said, if I cannot do it, I will do that here. This is an abdominal rotation. In this pose, the abdomen rotates more. Do all the abdomen? And now come up. Now on the other side. You know, in TB, one-sided TB, the lungs get collapsed. So you can experience what TB lungs are, what open lungs are. So even asanas gives you a certain guidance. Now, you can see that space. What happened to the lung? Open. Can you see now? That means I have made the oxygen to move more. When they did like that. So no, though they yogis today say, do breathing. They cannot breathe at all because the diaphragm is caught. They don't know. So the diaphragm is caught, they cannot breathe. So what did I do? I moved the diaphragm up so that the breathing is not blocked at all. And that lung also gets oxygenated. Inhale. Shirshasana. You know, people are afraid. Don't do Shirshasana. Then I have to tell you people, don't stand on your legs at all. You may develop thrombosis on the legs. See the languages of a medical man. What type of languages they use. They said if you do Shirshasana, the blood vessels may break. Even while standing for hours together, our policemen and all these people stand. They are all suffering from varicose veins. Do you mean to say that they cannot stand at all? So what have we to do to learn in such a way that we do not disturb the blood current flowing in the body? So as you stand in Tadasana, Shirshasana has to be done that way. Come on, do it. Now here, you can see the center of the body is long. Sides of the body are short. That means the center mind is longer. So one piece of the mind is longer, the other pieces of the mind are shorter. You say, I don't call it a Shirshasana at all. You may be standing on your head, but it is not Shirshasana. You have to judge. Now what I do is, roll the upper arms towards you, lower arms on the floor. Now raise the ribs, create same space between each intercostal muscles of the side ribs. And now how much the side body opens, sir? No shrinking at all. So no strain on the brain. Drop your side ribs. Now they are balancing on the brain. So block. So each asana should be done in such a way that the energy flows without any interruptions in between. Uninterrupted flow of energy, uninterrupted flow of awareness, uninterrupted flow of attention have to be observed in each and every asana. Now for example, now they are stretching. You can see the outer leg is longer, the inner leg is shorter. So what I do, I say from the root, from the perineum, I lift this body up to my middle of the arch. Now see the outer leg, the inner leg are almost identical. Here, the electrical nerves start from the brain. Shirshasana is very important for everyone so that the blood, they say it takes long time for the blood to move to the brain, whereas it flows easily for the legs. So that's why our yogis must have thought, let them do Shirshasana so that the blood also flows with comfort towards the brain. Here, the venous brain come easily and it works on the purification of the blood. Now come down. Many people cannot do Shirshasana. No, wait. Now, see, that Shirshasana, how he is doing. With some support. So blood circulates, no problems at all. Parsha Shirshasana. Various movements in Shirshasana. As father and mother are important to maintain a household. So here also Shirshasana acts as a father, Sarvangasana positions acts as a mother. So if these two asanas are performed well, the children in the body, these 300 muscles, 300 joints, 800 muscles, miles of blood currents, miles of neurocurrent will flow abundantly without interference, without creating any difference. No weeds will grow in the body. So the practice should be, Patanjali has said in the 4th chapter, which nobody cognizes. Nirmana Chit, what is that? No, the previous one. Nimittam aprayojakam prakritinam varanabedastu kshetrikaha. Like a farmer who removes the weeds in order to grow the best of the harvest, to get the best of the harvest, you have to do the asana, remove the weeds in the form of disease, mental disease, physical disease, intellectual disease, whatever you may call it. Remove all of them so that your body develops a sound health. Acha, next. Parivrtta. Parivrtta part. It covers various movements of the spine, both sides of the body evenly lifting. And those people who are staying, they are not still know those forces. That's why they are staying in Shirshasana. Ekapada Shirshasana. Various movements of in one asana. Asanani chitavanti yavantyo jivarashya. How many species are there in the world? There are so many asanas. Some people say do 2 asanas. Then there must be only 2 medicines to cure all diseases. But how stupidly we talk. So these asanas are given that innermost parts of the body remains unrecognized. So work so that the inner parts of the body also are kept healthy. That's why there are so many asanas given. I said this is an experimental science. You can see each muscle, how it has to work, how the fibers have to plan, how to cartilages have to grip, how the kneecap has to function. All these things, when we teach in the class, we explain. Urdhva Padmasana. Open the knees back. From the brain to the knee, there should be one single straight stretch like palm tree. Pindasana. Go to Urdhva Padmasana. One by one, Shirshasana. Change of leg. From the center of the head, ear, side of the neck, knee, side body, all in one straight line. Stretch for the tailbone. Ascend the tailbone to the knee. See, you can see now, standing poses are organic. Here is skeletal-muscular action. Here organic. See the trunk. How each and every organ of the body, how they have to be exercised. Slowly come down. Any of you here who have done Shirshasana, would you like to come on the platform to experience what it is? Because it's the mind. Anybody? Don't be shy. If you know it, please come. I will give you the difference. I will show you the difference. If you have done before, and what is correct Shirshasana. What about Basaredi? You are shy? Yes, come. Anybody can come. Those who have done, come. Come, it does not matter. Just you take rest by that time. Sit in Virasana. Niko Ikuda. Now do all of you Shirshasana. Go. She appears to be one of my student. Right? Ask her.
Yes, have you done before? Yeah. Yes.
See, I can catch. Samskara manas. So the samskara vritti, I can see. Now do that side only. Now you can see. You can see the placement of their heads, placement of their bodies, their nose, their eyes. Now I say this is half aggressive, non-aggressive, completely aggressive Shirshasana. Here he does not know whether I am right or wrong. This person is happy with the somatic action, but brain is completely wrong. So four people have given 4 types of Shirshasana. Which one to say it is correct now? Which one to say it is correct? See how difficult it is? Now all of you come down, please. Come down, all of you. Because I have to handle each one individually. Do it again. You do it. You stay after me, put it. Follow me. Come on. Inner pelagium straight up. You did Shirshasana before. You are doing Shirshasana now. Is the mental caliber same or different? Ask her. Huh? What? Huh?
She's smiling and saying it's different and she can't balance.
That's because correct asana is always difficult. She wants to do habitual mind. So habitual mind. So I wanted to break the habit. They are afraid. I broke the habit. Is the brain cool or hot? Huh?
It's difficult, so hot.
Huh?
It's difficult, so hot.
Difficult, so hard.
So it is hot.
Hold up. Lift her in the air. Body. Don't bring anything. Keep it down. And now ask her.
Now,
Yeah, it's balanced.
it's better. It's balanced.
Now I can come down. Cool or not? Head.
Yeah.
Now you did, sir. That's why I said I cannot take all because come here only. Get up. Just I give you an idea how it reacts on the mind. She said it's a different one. That means chemistry of the mind change. You follow? Come on. Right. This is Kapalasana, not Shirshasana, my friend. Do it. Let loose a little. Still let loose. Now lift him up. Somebody can lift him up. Go.
Okay, no, I will do that.
Take this back little. Take this roof back. This also little back. No, see, this is himsa. So this himsa should be removed. It should be lighter. How do you feel?
Very well.
What? Very well. Very well.
I understood. The difference between yours and this one. The difference.
The difference is a big difference what I'm doing before. Thank
Now-
you very much.
Thank you. Good.
I'm really grateful to you.
Come down. You can also try, sir. So this is what I want, education. So all people cannot become real yoga masters. Quasi knowledge, and that's the problem. Now, how to measure? Do Tadasana. Just stand, sit. Just sit. Straight, my friend.
So you're symmetric.
Now, how to measure Shirshasana? When you do Tadasana, no, you sit. When you do Tadasana, do you do like that? Or you keep it head straight? Tell me. The instinct is you keep parallel. Crown of the head parallel. When they do Shirshasana, they go this way or they go this way. How can it be Shirshasana? Shirshasana is nothing but reverse Tadasana. Name is Shirshasana because you stand on your head. That's why they call Shirshasana. But Shirshasana is nothing but inverted Tadasana. So how we stand in Tadasana? Are we imitating Tadasana in Shirshasana? Simple language to learn. And now try. So that's what I said. When I measure, I look the back of the head, front of the head, center of the crown, ear, the lobe of the ear, the center top, the center bottom should run parallel, perpendicular to the floor, parallel to each other. Now see, his ear has moved, so I move the ear back. Take the stomach back, sir. Press the finger only, not
Very easy.
Huh?
Very easy and
Very easy.
comfortable.
Very comfortable. So that means, how can the blood rush to the brain now when it's comfortable? So doctor's statements are wrong. Because now see, I will make him to suffer. Test this on the floor. Move the head forward. No. Can you see the mental changes? That is how one has to study very carefully. One more, come on, you also finish that. See again, I just now explained, they do the old things, habitual mind. Raise your head up. Now go up. Now I'm controlling his ear so that he should me. Bring the diaphragm towards me. Only diaphragm, arm forward, diaphragm backward. And now, because he has practiced longer than others, that's all I can say. He's a old student in this raw students. Now take this back as I move. Follow me. Little more. How do you feel now, brain? How do you feel? Huh? What?
Better. Good.
Are you cool or hot? Cool now. So Shirshasana cools the body, I heats the body. Now here is an example. So this is what I say science. Correct action, wrong action, what does it bring? Correct action, what does it bring? I'm happy that yoga says if the asana is done very accurately, the effect follows concurrently. These 4 students I never knew, but all 4 gave a better report. So that's how you have to know that how you have to improve yourself when you are doing. That is known as, I use the word, intoxicated intelligence. I know it, I do it. There you are wrong. That ego ruins you. I may not be doing well. Let me have a checkup. Let me find out. You go to your doctor to check up. Why not go to a known person to get checkup? You don't do it. So friends, I've given you a clue that immediately when I corrected the asana, they all 4 said different. That means I made their mind fresh. I never made them to live on the old mind. I made them to live in a new mind, a fresh mind. I made mind fresh. And can I maintain that fresh mind throughout my sadhana? That is how the asanas have to be done. Next. Virasana, Bharadvajasana. Change it. Oh, you change. Okay. Now this is Bharadvajasana. This is a lateral rotation of the spine. Now, you face the audience. You all sit like that. Spine. Now this is one side of the spine, this is another side of the spinal column. When they say twisting is very good. Now you can see the right side spine is longer, left is shorter. Now that means there is somewhere egoistic cult in the body, somatic ego. So I kill that somatic ego. Take it down. Now what happens, sir? Spine? See, I got the motion, I got the movement, she's saying, more movement. But whereas if it bulges, everybody bulges and they turn. So this is a skeletal-muscular movement, not the nerve movement. Say, spine nerves all starts from the spinal nerve. So am I attending to the source of the nerves? As we have got Karana Sharira, cause body, subtle body, and gross body. Even in nervous system, the medical science have given, not our people, they have got central nervous system, autonomous nervous system, peripheral nervous system. So Karana Sharira is from the spine, nerves. Middle body is the autonomous nervous system, peripheral is motor nerves and central nerves, sensory nerves. So balancing the central nervous system with the autonomous and adjusting the peripheral nerve so that it guides the central nervous system how it has to rise up according to the peripheral system, because these are the leaves of the nerves. The sensory nerves and the motor nerves are the leaves of the nervous system. So let me attend to the leaves and then turn. The movement is quite different. So that is how neurologically asanas can be done, psychologically asanas are done, physically it can be done. But which is the best one, you have to trace. Is it physical, psychological or neurological? According to elements, they have got up, tej and vayu. Out of 5 elements, these 3 elements are the active elements. Earth element do not function, Akash elements only supply and demand, like the business people doing, supply and demand. So Akasha does that job. How to supply the energy needed. Oh, there is a demand. What have I to do for that? So that is Akasha Tattva. These 3 tattvas, up and water, are anti-elements. The others are not only anti-elements. So electrical nerves depends on the function of the 2 elements, up and vayu, up and water, heat and water. Therefore, when we adjust the body, we have to study intellectually the pranamaya kosha, the physiological body, and the mental body, so that they should balance in each and every part. That can be done only through the Jnanamaya kosha, intellectual brain. Now, for example, they are doing. Now you can see here. You can see here. This is sky high. It is touching the sky. This is moving to the earth. Contradiction in action. But nobody knows. So what I do, I raise the lower lips up and lift and take that down and bring that in middle exactly. And can you see now? So I have not disturbed the central nervous system. Otherwise the nerves were like that. Distorted nerves. Weeds are growing in the nervous system. So nervous breakdown, we'll call it later. And now next. Other part of the Bharadwajasana. Now they are doing, I guide them, you can see, I won't correct them. You see the navel. Nabhi chakre kaya vyuha jnanam. In order to understand the entire body, you have to observe the space of the nerve. They are all doing it. The open side, the navel is high. On the other side, the navel is down. Is it in level part? Now adjust the drop navel, lift up. Body changed or not? Position changed or not? Mind changed or not? Is the mind same or lighter? Can you see now? So each asana has to be thoroughly thought of. Here comes dharana, dhyana and samadhi. Total absorption, total absorption. Everything has to be followed at the same time. And next. Then Marichasana. Here also, just now I gave the clue. But they're all, now just wait. They're all moving the chest. That is again, I said habitual mind. They don't want to break the habitual mind. I just told them, do from the navel. The navel is blocked. Entwined navel should be ascending. Non-entwined side should descend. Evolution, involution in the navel. Only it is not on the higher spiritual life. Even in the physical body, we have to follow, to balance evolution evenly. Each and every part of the body. One evolutes, one involutes. now change. As I told you, they're all beginners. You have to excuse their faults. Now you can see the top chest is 180 degrees rotation. His lower waist 180 degrees rotation. So what it means, you have hardened certain abdominal organic muscles, which is going to ill affect you after a few years, not immediately. Now take up the hand. Now move the floating rib away from you. Little more. Now turn. Move the diaphragm from here to that end. Now how is the posture now? Each part of the trunk is freed from bondage. So that is the beauty of yoga. Manayeva manushyanam karanam bandhamokshayoho. Mind is a cause for downfall or to take you towards liberation. Even Yoga Sutra says the same thing. Prakasha kriyasthiti shilam bhutendriyatmakam bhoga apavargartam drishyam. Asanas can be bhogartha, sensual pleasure, or you have to find out whether it is leading you towards the spiritual pleasure. So what you have to do is prakasha kriya sthiti. The gunas are brought in your sadhana, whether it is tamasic practice, rajasic practice, or sattvic practice. Prakasha is sattvic, kriya is rajasic, kriya is rajasic, sthiti is tamasic. So some parts, when you are doing, every part should be illuminated, should be sattvic, not some rajasic, some sattvic, some tamasic. You have to change the tamasic to rajasic, rajasic to sattvic. Rajohantaha. Asana's effect is rajohantaha. Remove the rajas quality of the body. Next. Ardhamatsendrasana. Again, navel, they are not moving. They are only thinking the armpit. Bring away the navel from the leg. This is Ardhamatsendrasana for the simple reason this represents the ship. Fish, this is the human being. That is why Ardhamatsendra. They take their body, they are forming like a fish. That's why Ardhamatsendra. Half fish, half human. This is a human body, this is a fish body. That's the name they have given it. Now they are the same. These are all good for all the abdominal problems. Liver, spleen, pancreas, intestines. Navel away. My friend Birju, navel do not move with your finger. You have to move by the mind. These are all good for the backaches. You know, backaches come. I am questioning a doctor. Why people get lumbar disc first? Because this is what yoga teaches, why these twistings are given. All other parts of the spine has support. Lumbar has no support. That's why injury takes place in lumbar area more. So the yogis, I don't know the modern science and their science, you can imagine that they thought that in order to stabilize the lumbar area, they gave all this twisting so that the stem of the lumbar, as it has no support, is strengthened on by its own. And if those people who do the asana very accurately, I say they can never have backaches in their lives. So lumbar has no support, that's why lumbar gets injured. When lumbar gets injured, the other parts of the spine, like water taking the shape in a jar. So the spine, due to injured spine, the other parts of the spine take the shape of like a jar. Follow? Next. Baddha Konasana. Baddha means stable, firm. So the asana, the seat should be maintained with firmness. That's why it's called Baddha Konasana. This is God's gift or yogi's gift to women. Those who people can do regularly this asana, the delivery is natural, they need not go for artificial delivery. This cobbler sit. Now, here lots of diseases are going on, how they are going rampant, how the heart diseases increase. Now, I would like doctors in India to test the kidneys of the cobblers and the kidneys of the sophisticated citizens. Find out whether their kidneys function better or your kidneys function better. Then you realize that Baddha Konasana, with all their bad habits of drinking, smoking, their kidneys function better than you all. Because they sit hours together in Baddha Konasana. So the kidneys pump, activates. Renal nerves are made to function in Baddha Konasana. Then Upavishta Konasana. This also a gift, boon to women. He is sitting on a bolster and does it. Next. Dandasana. Dandasana is there. Danda means a stick, like a walking stick. You can see how many people are keeping their legs like a danda. Their legs are like a bridge, not like a danda. So I am criticizing my own students. Don't feel that if they are hurt, it is not, it's their fault. It's an intelligence. That a danda means a stick. Your joints from the hip to the heel should be like one single stick. Now, side. Now you can see the gap between the knees, between the thighs and the calf muscle. Now you can see how the danda has to be done. Sit. What happened to this face, sir? So that is stick. Now, this is a bent stick, not a straight stick. Straight stick is not called as danda. So your mind should be to feel that they are shortening. What have I to do? Why it is bumping? You cannot drive a car if there is a bump, right? You put a brake. So these are brakes in the body for you not to learn the asanas. Therefore, you have to remove these impediments, break, so that the asana flows easily, so the energy also flows easily everywhere. And not try. Now when they do it, this immediately disturbs the mind. The somatic body disturbs the mind. So this, see how I kept it. And now go. No disturbance in the leg at all. You see the heel. You see the heel. The distance between the heel and the edge of the bench, platform. Now I remove my knee, it goes back. Went back or not? Came back. Can you see now? So that means when they are doing, here the body also has the power to trick your mind. So asanas are meant to see that the body does not trick the mind. So both ways one has to use. See, I am touching it, it's stable motion. At the moment I look, they all shake their muscles, upper arm, back, everything. So which part if I grip, that's the brain. So inner knee in the forward bend is the brain for me to move the entire body with smoothness. Next. Paschimottanasana. Iti Paschimottanasana kriyam pavanam paschimavahanam karoti. They have used a beautiful effect of the asana. The posterior body is the west, this is the south, this is the north, this is the east, this is the west. So here, posterior, paschima, from the heel, they have to move towards from the south. The head body should be stretched towards the north as a single stretch from the heel. Pavanam, so that the spinal muscles are fed from the tailbone towards the brain, or move towards the brain. Next. Kurmasan. Other side Baddha Konasan. This is the kurma which moves with their arms, legs, how they move. Supta Kurmasan. When it takes its shells inside the shell. Lord Krishna has given this quotation very well, that a sthiraprajna, a stable intellectual man, remain like a tortoise which keeps its limbs under its shell. So the back body is the shell. All the senses are on the floor. They are cut off from the external world. So naturally they have to think of the inner world. There is no other thing to see, other thing to feel, so except their own. So that is why this is an imitation of Supta Kurmasana, like a turtle which takes all its cells into the shell. So here everything is taken into the shell so that the mind can live without any outer interferences. Next. Next. Bhuja Pidasana. Bhuja means shoulder. Pida means compressing and doing it. The effect of asana, according to Hatha Yoga, are Arogyam Angalaghavam. Not only our health, but lightness of the body. Stand up. Right. Now, there's a new phase. Power yoga. Yoga is one. There cannot be this yoga, that yoga, as people call it. Yoga is only one. God is one, truth is one, yoga is one. It cannot be separated. Now, Buddhastasana, Tadasana, Uttanasana, Chaturanga Dandasana, Urdhvamukha Svanasana, Adhomukha Svanasana, Paschimottanasana, Adhomukha Svanasana, Lolasana, Chaturanga Dandasana, Urdhvamukha Svanasana, Adhomukha Svanasana, Uttanasana, Tadasana, Buddhastasana, then Tadasana. So this is known as power yoga. Bhuja Pidasana. Then Chaturanga Dandasana, Urdhvamukha Svanasana, Adhomukha Svanasana, Bhuja Pidasana, Chaturanga Dandasana, Urdhvamukha Svanasana, Adhomukha Svanasana, Uttanasana, Tadasana. Can you see now? So people call it Tada. What? It's a skeletal muscular motion. Yoga has got two aspects. One is excited with motion, another to get excited in action. What you saw just now, I'm exciting in their interactions. This power yoga, what they call it, jumpings, is nothing but skeletal-muscular action which triggers the peripheral nerve a little bit. And they say it's fine. But does it touch the inner body? Do you stay in that asana to know what that asana is going to teach me? What that asana is going to give me? Nothing. They go like the gymnastic movements, saying that this is power yoga. And this I was teaching up to 1960. And everybody thought this is physical yoga. My friend, it's no doubt in a demonstration I have to show, but when I do you observe? I can stay, even today I stay Shirshasana half an hour. To give you an example, Shankar Netralaya in Madras, you know, Dr. Badrinath, 75 students of mine were examined to find the pressure in Shirshasana. And only one person, out of 75, one person pressure was high. So the doctor said, what is this? That means we cannot come to the conclusion. 74 is very good. Then I told him, never mind, you please come down. Then I said, will you be here tomorrow also? You come, no? Tomorrow I will adjust him, you take it. So as I adjusted, I took the Shirshasana. He said the pressure is not there. There is no pressure of anybody in the eyes. Out of 75, only one got it, and I rectified the next day. So that is how that's why I say it's a scientific methodology which I have done. Lots of foreign people, doctors have done research. I've got 27 papers done by third party, the value of my method. So please friends, action in yoga is more important, not motion. Vinyasa yoga or power yoga is like a dance who moves from place to place. There's no stability, there's only motion, no action. So don't be excited by motion, get excited by action, which is very difficult to get excited in action. Motion is very difficult, easy to get excited. So just give you an example. Next. Faster, time I put it, just it. They are doing the strengthening, muscular strengthening position. These two on the floor, those two from Shirshasana. Bakasana. How the tricep, bicep, deltoids, forearm have to be used. Shirshasana. Purta Kottasana. Don't have the perineum. Don't worry, wait. Come on. See how to help? I have not touched even the body. Now, this tells me whether he is balancing or not. So immediately I control. And next. Sarvangasana. One moment. Fast motion blanket. Move the blankets fast, please. Sarvangasana is called Sarvanga. The very name has to convey that you have to move from the core of the being to the skin. Each asana, you should communicate from the cells to the self, and from the cell to the cells. Then only you can call that as an asana. As long as there is no connection, contact between the cell and the cells, and the self and the cell, see, that is only just partial presentation, and don't call it as yogasana, call it bhogasana. There is a vast difference between yogasana and bhogasana. Now that man will be showing how aged people can practice. Variations in Sarvangasana. Just to give you an idea, that's all. We speak of chakras. In Shirshasana, the Sahasrara and Ajna Chakra have to balance in parallel to each other. In Sarvangasana, Vishuddhi, Ajna and Nabhi Chakra has to be in one line. So here I am not speaking of chakras because I am not jumping. I am still earthy. Though I know the subject, but I like to present for a common man what he has to learn. Here, the chakra itself, the name called Vishuddhi Chakra. That means it is always tense. Therefore, Sarvangasana, if you do, the Vishuddhi Chakra is completely released from the tension. Only the difference between chakras and glands are outside the spine, chakras are inside the spinal cord. Parshva Sarvangasana. Parshva Padma Sarvangasana. Padmasana. Is there? Pindasana? Huh? This is a very good pose for hamstring muscles, backaches. Suppose you are doing this pose. Of course, I am sorry that straight pose. When you do this asana, you have to steady from the navel, the back body, how far it is on the floor. How far it is on the floor. Is it on the floor? Now, this is known as, we can cheat in the public. You never know. You think it's a right pose. Now, I am also presenting you that one has to learn. Now, see, I will change it. What happened? Back touched the floor. Do we think like whether the back is touching the floor or not? Just we do. And then we say we are not improved at all. So it's not the blame of the science, it's the blame of the practitioner, which should not be termed for the science. Navel facing the ceiling. Navel facing the ceiling when they go side. Side pose. Now she has done. See, the liver, the spleen, the pancreas are all collapsed. Now, how the asanas have to be done? Now, the leg is moving this way, pancreas move that way. So, organically also, we have to keep their organs in such a way that they are not dispositioned. Now back bends. This is all now extension of the spine. In Paschimottanasana, the posterior spine is made to move. Here the anterior spine, that is antar merudanda, is attended to. Inner parts of the vertebrae are made to create space between each vertebrae, not just doing back arch. The mind should be, the space between each spinal vertebrae should be of equal distance, not only on the peripheral side, but also on the core side. Now, many people do. Out, knee, and lift up. This is how they do. So they are injuring the spine. That is herniating the spine. So what we do, we say, don't use the inner body, move the outer body so that the outer vertebrae may create space equal to the inner vertebral space. Viparitadasana. Move the tailbone to be in contact with the core and then stretch the leg away from the core. But the tailbone should remain where they are. Ekapada Viparita Dandasana. Others will stay because they are still. Now the other leg. Ekapada Viparita Dandasana 2. Change of flag. Now Chakrabandhasana. You can see he has used all symbols of 6 chakras. So this asana is working only on the central spine of the spinal cord. That is why it is called Chakrabandhasana. So that means you are directly working on the chakras. Hanumanasana. Kapatasana. Parma. Now this is a Prayatna Shaitilya. The Prayatna has not ended there. Where the effortful effort becomes an effortless effort, that is, you are in the state of infinity. So this girl is, I am just correcting one person. Come up. No, come up.
1 minute.
Give me your hand. Hey, elbow me like. Hands up. Kai nera, Buddha Rasan. Contact little bit. Don't bend the hands. This is, the moment you catch the heel, it becomes effortless. You can see. Any weight, they don't feel the weight. Hanumanasana. Before concluding, I pay my respects to Wind of God, Hanuman. This is the lip. Hanu means the lip. So all breath moves here. So Maruti is, God of Hanuman is sitting here. That's why it's called Hanuman. Anu, who is sitting on the top. So this is the gate of the breath. So Hanuman stays there. We do not know. So this is why it's called Hanumanasana. As you cross from the Himalayas to the Sri Lanka, one stretching the leg is called Hanumanasana. This is a salutation to God Hanuman. Now Natarajasana, salutations to the Ishvara, the Yogeshwara of all yogas, Lord Shiva. That is Natarajasana. Good. Before concluding, we have a small prayer, praying Patanjali for the success of today's program. Friends, thank you for your patience. Without conquest of the cognizable body, you cannot touch the uncognizable body, this self. As I showed you, that karmendriyas, organs of action, senses of perception, mind, as when it coordinates with that, mind is called ekadashendriya, 11th sense. The same mind, when it comes in contact with the intelligence, consciousness, conscientiousness, and the soul, it is called antaratman. So when we practice the asana, that ekadashendriya, which is a Bairanga external part of the mind, is transformed to become an internal part of the soul. So that the dual quality of the mind is gone and single quality of the mind is maintained, so that the mind becomes absolute, thorough, without deviation. And that is what, in my experience, that I have learned that this has given me. So friends, as you savor, taste the flavor of the mango fruit, if you do the asanas very accurately, which is the stepping stone for you to reach the ultimate, the realization of the self, pratishtha, chitte pratishtha, the atma pratishtha will automatically appear on you, and you live on the abode of the self. All your actions will be from the self, which is completely pure, fertile, without any colorization. So please savor the flavor of the asana by bringing the soul to rest and run each and every avenue of the part of your body in Annamaya. These are all like caves. Annamaya, Pralamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya, Anandamaya are like caves within the cave. So in order to penetrate the innermost cave, Anandamaya Kosha, you have to work. Shodhana, Shochana, and Shobhana and Shamana Kriya, sadhana are needed. You have to search, you have to clean, you have to auspiciously live, so that everything is at peace and you live in peace and poise. Peace in the body, poise in the mind. We are all in pieces in the body. So make these pieces into a single piece so that you enjoy what poise is in the mind. God bless you. Thank you. I have to thank you for giving me this chance.
Thank you, Guruji. This has been a great, what do I say? It's been a very humbling, inspiring, moving, empowering privilege and a great blessing. We are the foundation of His Holiness. And so in the Tibetan tradition, if I may offer you the scarf and a prostration for your... This wonderful painting that you see here, Enlightenment, is by a wonderful artist, friend of the foundation, Arpana Kaur, and may I invite her to present you a copy of the... Arpana, come, if you'll just present it.
Sir, in Hindi, people call it is a Buddha. So I was a Buddha when I started. Now after 70 years of regular practice, God enlightened me, so I have become a little understandable, enlightened in the field of asanas. And this is a great honor for me, from the enlightened soul's heart to this enlightening soul. Thank you. Namaskar.
For our guests from Pune and Bombay, if you could take a step forward, we have a small gesture of appreciation. These are Tibetan Buddhist tankas of the medicine Buddha, of the healing Buddha. That's it. One more. One more. And if we could sort of change places with our guests from Delhi, and in particular Nivedita Joshi, who runs the Iyengar Center in Delhi. Our very deep appreciation and gratitude for helping set up this event.
Thank you.